"80,000 years ago, anatomically modern humans began spreading from Africa into South Asia and beyond. Initially, small groups of humans left Africa, roaming over vast distances in search of food. Evidence suggests that around 120,000 years ago, there were temporary settlements in Southwest Asia. However, they didn't settle permanently in Southwest Asia until much later, around 60,000 years ago, or even later. Notably, archaeological findings from sites in Israel show a mix of Neanderthal and modern human traits in skeletal remains, indicating possible coexistence. Both rainfall and temperatures dropped in the Levant area between 75,000 and 70,000 years ago. The entire region became colder and much drier, making it relatively inhospitable. The conditions were also aggravated by the Mount Toba eruption in Indonesia. Neanderthals were apparently on an evolutionary dead end. About 20,000 years or so were to pass before modern humans reappeared in Southwest Asia, but when they did so, they stayed permanently. Neanderthals and modern humans diverged 500,000 years ago, evolving separately in Eurasia and Africa. They intermittently interacted and interbred in the Levant, with modern humans migrating out of Africa first. 45,000 to 50,000 years ago, modern humans replaced Neanderthals in Eurasia after a prolonged coexistence. Recent dating work suggests that Neanderthals disappeared around 40,000 years ago, with the primary tool-making tradition called Mousterian ending around 41,000 to 39,000 years ago. Interactions were influenced by infectious diseases, as both species had different immunities. New diseases caused significant burdens only until gene exchange and adaptation reduced these barriers, facilitating closer contact. Besides adaptation to infectious diseases, the replacement of Neanderthals by modern humans was also influenced by genetic differences and interbreeding. Modern humans had greater genetic diversity and adapted more quickly to new pathogens, accelerating their expansion. Neanderthals, encountering new diseases from modern humans, were vulnerable, similar to historical events like European colonization of the Americas. Traditionally, the encounters between Neanderthals and modern humans were depicted in terms of conflict between the Neanderthals' traditional lifestyle and the more adaptable and technically advanced style of Homo sapiens. However, genetic evidence shows interbreeding between modern humans and Neanderthals, with all non-Africans having up to 4% Neanderthal DNA. However, Neanderthal DNA primarily entered the modern human gene pool, not the reverse. This absorption by modern human groups likely contributed to the decline of Neanderthals. In Southwest Asia, despite the arid landscape, modern humans adapted well due to their familiarity with drought-prone environments. They were tall and thin, with long legs, well suited for traversing the semi-arid terrain. These newcomers brought lighter tool kits, including finely made stone blades, indicating advancements in technology. For a long time, experts believed that the arrival of Homo sapiens brought about advanced new technologies, such as the use of punches to create fine blades and specialized tools made from stone, antler, and bone. While these innovations were indeed used by modern humans, evidence in Eastern and Southern Africa shows tools like them were used earlier, around 100,000 years ago. In Southwest Asia, Neanderthal toolmaking is well documented in caves like Mount Carmel in Israel and Shanidar in Iraq, with evidence of habitation spanning over 70,000 years. These sites show the Mousterian technology, characterized by retouched flakes and side scrapers, evolving over time. Later layers reveal new tool types and the use of cylindrical flint cores to produce long, parallel-sided blades up to 6 inches long, which were then made into various specialized tools. Blade technology and refined hunting tools such as throwing sticks became prominent, suggesting advanced cognitive abilities in early modern humans. However, earlier bladelet technology, like the Howiesen's port in South Africa, dating between 65,000 and 59,000 years ago, shows that early Homo sapiens were already capable of developing such technology. Intense glaciation occurred about 75,000 years ago, during which Neanderthals thrived in Europe. Another peak in glaciation occurred around 20,000 years ago, called the last glacial maximum, causing sea levels to drop to about 130 meters below modern levels. During the height of the last glaciation, global temperatures dropped by as much as 15.5 degrees centigrade near the ice sheets. This led to significant changes in vegetation, with treeless tundra and cold steppe covering large areas, while deserts expanded. Despite these harsh conditions, humans managed to survive and adapt to the changing climate, particularly in Europe and Eurasia. 50,000 years ago, modern humans, or Homo sapiens, began to appear in Europe during a milder climate period. Neanderthals, who had adapted to prolonged periods of extreme cold, still inhabited Europe but were declining. 54,000 years ago, both Neanderthals and modern humans visited Mandarin Cave in southern France. By 40,000 BCE, small groups of modern humans settled in southern Europe, and 30,000 years ago, they inhabited the entire continent. Latest dating on the Vindija site in Croatia shows that the last Neanderthals survived in Europe around 40,000 years ago, coinciding with the presence of modern humans producing ordnation tools in nearby regions. Many late Neanderthal remains are associated with transitional industries which blend Neanderthal and modern human technologies. Examples include the Castelperronian industry in France. These remains date to around 40,000 years ago before the present. By this time, modern humans with ordnation tools were already in Austria, Germany, and northern Italy, suggesting interactions that might have influenced Neanderthal culture. In a broader context, modern humans expanded into Asia and Australia over 60,000 years ago, suggesting Western Europe saw a delayed Neanderthal replacement due to dense Neanderthal populations well adapted to their environment. The first wave of humans moved into Europe around 40,000 years ago in small numbers and settled in southern Europe. Between 49,000 and 41,000 years ago, sites in Moravia, Romania, and Bulgaria show artifacts similar to those in Southwest Asia. These sites were initially occupied during a warm period but abandoned when the climate cooled. A second wave of newcomers, known as proto-Aurignacians, brought different artifacts into Europe, possibly from Southwest Asia. They entered through the Balkans and spread into Southeast Europe, Italy, southwestern France, and northern Spain. These groups were small and moved over large territories, adapting to diverse landscapes and climates. They foraged on hot days and cold nights and transitioned effortlessly into colder regions where predators were common. They encountered a few Neanderthals in what seemed like an empty world. Around 39,000 years ago, a massive volcanic eruption near Naples caused widespread devastation, creating a volcanic winter that affected the eastern Mediterranean and eastern Europe. This event disrupted hunting territories and food supplies over a wide area. During the last glacial maximum, climate changes influenced human settlement in Europe. Southern areas like Iberia, Italy, and the Balkans acted as refuges during tough times. The Solutrean culture, around 25,000 to 20,000 years ago, had distinctive stone tools and survival strategies. They adapted to harsh conditions by moving to more favorable areas, like northern Aquitaine and coastal regions in Iberia. They developed finely crafted stone points for hunting and specialized in hunting key animals like reindeer and horses in France, and red deer and ibex in Iberia. Solutrean communities maintained social connections despite geographic separation, relying on small sites between core settlements called marchlands. These sites served as hunting camps and food reserves, ensuring survival during tough times. The Solutrean period saw technological advances like heat treatment for stone tools and the invention of the spear thrower. They had a diverse diet including marine mollusks, fish, and rabbits, allowing them to endure and pave the way for the Magdalenian culture after the last glacial maximum. During the late Ice Age, Central and Western Europe experienced cold and dry conditions, with large ice sheets covering northern areas and steppe grassland dominating unglaciated regions. Despite the harsh climate, a diverse mammalian community thrived, including bison, horses, reindeer, and mammoths. Human inhabitants adapted constantly to these changing conditions by adjusting their diet, hunting methods, and technology. This led to a wide variety of cultural adaptations during the Upper Paleolithic period. Over time, archaeologists identified distinct cultural periods characterized by unique technologies and innovations. Regional differences became apparent, with variations in stone and antler tool types, as well as personal ornamentation. Some researchers suggest that these differences imply the emergence of regional diversity or even ethno-linguistic variations among Upper Paleolithic populations in Europe. Between 35,000 and 12,000 years ago, the climate in southwest France was relatively mild, with cool summers and mild winters. This created an abundance of food resources, including a diverse range of animals like horses, reindeer, bison, and mammoths, as well as smaller game like rabbits and birds. The region experienced two periods of moderate climate, between 30,000 and 22,000 years ago, and after the last glacial maximum around 22,000 to 20,000 years ago. These periods saw the development of hunter-gatherer societies and cultural advancements. The people of this region primarily subsisted on horses and reindeer, but also hunted other large animals and smaller game. Fishing, particularly salmon fishing, was significant, providing up to 50% of dietary protein. Settlements were often located near rivers, where fish were abundant and where salmon runs were prevalent. The population density was high, and groups often lived in the same locations year-round, close to seasonal food sources. Settlement sites were chosen near water sources and provided good views of the surrounding landscape for hunting and observation. Shelters and caves were utilized, often facing south to benefit from the sun's warmth. These sites were sometimes used to stampede herd animals like reindeer and horses over cliffs for hunting. In open areas, groups constructed structures using river cobbles as foundations and heated them for warmth and stability. During the Upper Paleolithic period, large settlements like Laudry Haute and Laudry Basse in southwest France served as gathering sites where people came together to exploit abundant resources like reindeer. These gatherings likely lasted for days or weeks, but not year-round due to environmental limitations. Modern hunter-gatherer societies show that disputes were often resolved by individuals leaving the group, a practice known as voting with your feet. These gatherings were significant events, marked by ceremonies, rituals, and the exchange of artifacts and ornaments. They were occasions for marriage, initiation ceremonies, storytelling, and invoking spiritual forces for hunting success and the continuity of life. During these gatherings, people exchanged items like seashells and Baltic amber, which held social, magical, or prestige value. This exchange may have strengthened social bonds between individuals and groups. The Magdalenian culture, associated with this period, was characterized by elaborate decorations and possibly complex spiritual beliefs. The sophistication of their artifacts suggests a level of social complexity and perhaps greater sedentism compared to earlier periods. Between 48,000 and 30,000 years ago, people in Europe began creating ornaments like beads and pendants. During the Upper Paleolithic era, we discover fascinating evidence of early human creativity and expression through cave paintings. Around 400 such sites have been discovered across Europe. Cave paintings can be found all over the world, from France to Indonesia to Australia. In South Asia, the Bhimbetka rock shelters in central India offer a glimpse into the earliest known cave art in India. One striking feature of many cave paintings is the use of handprints. Our ancestors would place their hands on the cave walls and blow pigment over them, creating a kind of negative image that is still visible today. Many cave paintings depict animals, from bison to horses to deer. Our ancestors were intimately connected to the natural world, and these paintings likely had spiritual significance, perhaps as a way of invoking the power of the animals depicted. Some caves contain just a few paintings, while others are covered in thousands of images. And because these paintings were often created in remote and hard-to-reach locations, they can be difficult to access and study. Despite the challenges, researchers continue to study cave paintings to learn more about our ancient ancestors. They use advanced imaging techniques to analyze the pigments used and to date the paintings, providing new insights into our distant past. One of the most mysterious things about cave paintings is their purpose and meaning. While we can speculate about what the paintings might have meant to our ancestors, we don't have a clear understanding of their original intended significance. Early artistic expressions, such as those found in the Apollo Cave in southern Africa and the red pigment in South African Blombos caves, suggest artistic activities even earlier than previously thought. The Magdalenian culture, beginning around 20,000 years ago, saw an explosion of artistic expression, with intricate engravings and sculptures crafted from bone, antler, and clay. Famous examples include the paintings in Lascaux and Altamira caves, depicting animals in vivid colors and lifelike detail. Art significantly conveyed complex ideas and beliefs, including divination ceremonies associated with figurines known as Venus sculptures. Magdalenian artists depicted animals and symbolic patterns with remarkable skill and detail, contributing to a rich and diverse artistic tradition during the Upper Paleolithic period. Today we understand that many hunter-gatherer groups worldwide use art and ritual to give meaning to their lives. For the artists of Lascaux and other sites, their art depicted continuities between animal and human life, reflecting their social world. Some researchers have suggested shamanistic associations with cave art. However, interpretations of cave art remain speculative, and alternative theories, like the idea of engraved portable objects as a form of notation, are also proposed. Around 13,000 years ago, cave art declined as climatic conditions changed and forested environments replaced open plains. The brilliant artistic expressions of the Magdalenian culture gave way to new adaptations, marking the end of an era of cave and antler art and the emergence of complex symbolic systems recorded in various mediums. Some researchers believe that cave paintings had religious or spiritual significance and may have been used in rituals or ceremonies. Others believe that the paintings were used for storytelling or as a form of communication between groups of people. Another mystery surrounding cave paintings is the techniques used to create them. Pigments may have been obtained from materials found in their environment, and then apply those pigments to the cave walls using simple tools like sticks or their fingers. Despite these primitive tools and materials, the paintings are often incredibly detailed and intricate, raising questions about how they were created. There is still much that we don't know about the artists themselves. Who were they? What inspired them to create these works of art? What was their daily life like? These are questions that we may never be able to answer definitively, but they only add to the mystery and intrigue surrounding these ancient and enigmatic works of art. What's specifically intriguing about Paleolithic cave art is that many of these artworks are located in the deepest, darkest parts of the caves, often hundreds of meters away from the main entrances. In this video, we'll delve into the possible explanations behind why early humans ventured into these dark and narrow passages, and why they chose to paint the walls in these almost inaccessible areas. Recent research by Israeli archaeologists suggests that the use of fire for lighting may have caused a significant reduction in oxygen concentration in the caves, leading to altered states of consciousness. The altered state could have been a result of oxygen deprivation, which can cause hallucinations and out-of-body experiences. As these deep caves were not easy to access, people had to crawl, climb, and descend deep shafts to reach these paintings, indicating that they held immense significance for the ancient humans who created them. The hall where the famous Altamira cave paintings are located is only 1.5 meters wide and 250 meters from the entrance, while the Lascaux cave paintings are approximately 200 meters deep in the cave system. The air we breathe normally contains 21% oxygen. However, when the body is deprived of sufficient oxygen, a condition called hypoxia occurs, which is characterized by oxygen concentrations below 18%. Mild hypoxia occurs when the oxygen concentration is between 18% and 13.5%, while severe hypoxia occurs when the concentration drops below 13.5%. The amount of oxygen in the blood depends on the oxygen concentration in the air we breathe and the amount of hemoglobin in our blood. When oxygen levels are low, the body compensates by increasing breathing and heart rate, but if oxygen levels fall to 9.5%, we can fall unconsciousness. Hypoxia affects certain areas of the brain, specifically the frontal cortex and the right hemisphere, which are associated with emotional creativity. Hypoxia can cause a range of physiological and behavioral changes, including drowsiness, euphoria, misjudgment, and a loss of self-criticism, which can occur at oxygen concentrations of around 14.5%. In extreme environments, such as caves or during high-altitude mountain climbing, oxygen concentrations can lead to sensory deprivation and an increase in the neurotransmitter dopamine, which is associated with hallucinations and out-of-body experiences. Researchers from Israel performed some simulated experiments to prove how artificial light sources such as fire and deep caves can significantly reduce the oxygen concentration from its natural level of 21% to below 18%, and ultimately leading to a state of hypoxia. Caves are characterized by their darkness, silence, and narrow passages, and when isolated from the outside world, they can strongly affect the human mind, causing experiences of claustrophobia and hallucinations. The cave environment, combined with extended isolation and disorientation, can result in altered states of consciousness that are common to all humans, regardless of cultural differences. Such altered states can be attained through various means, such as psychoactive drugs, intense concentration, hyperventilation, sustained rhythmic movement, food restriction, dehydration, sleep deprivation, meditation, and extreme environmental conditions like those found in caves. Advancing through narrow cave passages increases the effects of sensory deprivation and isolation, creating a sensation where past, present, and future come together and time stands still. Shamanism, a cross-cultural phenomenon, is often associated with altered states of consciousness, which are attained through fasting, sleep deprivation, music, dancing, and/or ingestion of psychoactive plants. These actions increase activity in the frontal cortex, which is thought to play an important role in creativity. The depictions found in caves are thought to be related to shamanism and may have been painted by the shamans themselves, who depicted their own neurological experiences and insights. However, it is also possible that anyone in an altered state of consciousness could have created these images. When in an altered state of consciousness, an individual may experience sensations such as flying or passing underground, and the images they see appear to float on the cave surfaces as if they were a membrane connecting to the other worlds. Caves have always captured our imagination, serving as mysterious gateways to the unknown. They have been seen as more than just geological formations. They have been revered as gateways to other realms, connecting us to the underworld and the afterlife. From tribal societies to early human civilizations, caves have been imbued with a sense of magic and power, serving as liminal and cosmological spaces that connect our world with the hereafter. Indigenous peoples across the globe have viewed caves as living entities, imbued with their own spirit and power. But it's not just modern humans who were captivated by the allure of caves. Even our Neanderthal cousins recognized the significance of these subterranean wonders. They, too, used caves as a canvas for their art, creating depictions of animals and abstract patterns that still captivate us today. So what is it about caves that inspires such reverence and creativity? Perhaps it's the sense of mystery in the unknown, the idea that there are secrets hidden within the depths of the earth that we have yet to uncover. Or maybe it's the feeling of being close to something greater than ourselves, connecting us to the forces of nature and the universe. The depictions found in caves offer us a glimpse into the minds and worldviews of our ancient ancestors, highlighting their connections to the cosmos and their beliefs about the interdependence of all things. While the cave art is undoubtedly an impressive achievement, it is just one facet of human engagement with subterranean features. From religious rituals to archaeological discoveries, caves continue to inspire us and unlock secrets from the past. As we explore and study these natural formations, we are reminded of the enduring human fascination with the unknown and our never-ending quest for knowledge and understanding. The Upper Paleolithic period, spanning from approximately 45,000 to 10,000 years ago, marked significant evolutionary strides in human society. Technological innovations, such as the development of blade technology, spear throwers, and the use of diverse materials for tool making, highlight the adaptive ingenuity of Upper Paleolithic humans. These advancements not only enhanced hunting efficiency but also facilitated the processing of a wider variety of resources, contributing to the stability and growth of human populations. Cultural expressions flourished during this era, with the creation of awe-inspiring cave paintings, carvings, and figurines, reflecting a deepening sense of self-awareness, spirituality, and community among Upper Paleolithic people. Social structures also evolved, with evidence suggesting more complex and cooperative group dynamics. The establishment of semi-permanent settlements and the development of trade networks indicate a move towards more organized and interconnected communities. The Upper Paleolithic period was a transformative epoch in human history, marked by significant advancements in technology, art, and social organization.